And we're on the Greenbrier River Trail, starting at Buckeye. We have some very important people here. Louise McNeil Peace, one of the most noted poets of her time. We have the old station at Buckeye. Now, is this what you're talking about down here?
Yeah, it was right over there where that clump of trees is.
So it was at the clump of trees.
You can still make out the cement foundation. And then in this field, behind the truck, was a sawmill.
Oh. Well, what was this? What did the station consist of?
It was just a flag stop.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think it had an agent or anything. You just stood there and flagged the train down, or
so this was just like a little bus stop for us today.
Or loading your milk on the train.
Looks like these ladies.
See, there's piles of lumber behind them women.
Yeah, so it must have been early on.
Yeah.
They built it.
I don't think the sawmill lasted a whole.
Yeah. A lot of those things were pretty mobile. Periodic cicada. That's 13 to 17 year locust. You know, the things stink when they come. They die, and, or whatever it is, they transform themselves. And I find it to be fairly unpleasant. Wow, columbine. Now, you ever sketched a flower like this?
No, I don't do
flowers.
Yeah.
Indigo bunting. I've got some friends that are big into bird hunting.
Yeah, they come to my feeders early in the spring.
So you have several different kinds of birds come?
Yeah, I was reading yesterday in the paper Shalloway's articles in the Gazette that in the Gazette that the hummingbirds, the locals have already left. That the hummingbirds we're seeing now are the ones from the far north that are coming through.
Well, you know, I guess it makes sense that every
yeah, I didn't realize they leave
every
August.
Every species probably has a different schedule, don't they? Yeah. Someone told me the other day that the hummingbird, if you have hummingbirds around, you won't have much gnats and bugs and things.
Yeah, they eat spiders too.
I can't imagine how fast they
pick bugs and spiders out of the spider webs.
Yeah. But it's,
well, let's walk down here. I'll show you the C&O track house.
I can remember when the railroad was here, but it's a faded memory.
The last year it ran was in '84.
Yeah.
And it wasn't stripped out until '87.
Yeah, it is a shame that they stripped this, because this would had a lot of potential now.
I think it hurt the county. Because the county that stopped any industrial development.
Yeah.
Of course, there isn't any industrial development in this country anymore. Well, some of the parts for the 140-foot scope were brought up on this railroad.
What?
Yeah. Because they were really worried they wouldn't fit through the tunnel. And they brought them to Boyer, offloaded them, put them on trucks, and brought them up through from not Boyer, Bartow.
Yeah. And
took the pieces from Bartow to Greenbank, where they were installed at the 140-foot scope.
This is a pretty good walk for your dogs, isn't it?
Yeah, they both like the trail.
They sort of run ahead, but then they keep track of you. I used to have a squirrel dog that he would run ahead and then he'd always come back. You couldn't lose him.
Nice weather today. It's nice and cool.
Yeah. It's a pleasant day.
It's the beginning of autumn. Sort of like the day you were knocked down.
Yeah. It was a pretty day there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day.
I'll never understand what they were thinking. Someone told me the other day it cost $1,500 to go to the emergency room. And what's $2,500 for a CT?
$3,300 for a CAT scan.
For a CAT scan. I don't think Janice has got any sense whatsoever of value, do you?
Yeah, so
he must be used to...
Almost a $5,000 calamity for him.
Could have saved 45-cent stamp.
Yeah.
I never figured that out, did he?
To have a photo op.
Well, I still suspect that the Times was in on that. I think they had something to do with that. Because he parked right in front of them.
Well, and as soon as you got there, the photographer came out and started taking pictures.
But one thing I've never understood, why did Pam Pritt come out and tell him to stop?
Well, she initially came out with Angelo.
Oh, okay.
And she went back in.
Oh, okay.
And she came back out when you fell. Well, there it is, Norman, the CNO.
Oh, man.
Track workers.
This is what we came here for. I didn't know about this. Now,
I think this might have been a duplex.
Well, there was a school here too, wasn't there?
Yeah, but the school is next to it. It's down a little bit further. But this was where the track foreman lived.
Now, my question is, why would a track foreman merited his own house? He administered this particular section.
Yeah.
He was like
He was in charge of the track maintenance.
Huh.
He made sure, and he had a number of men work for him, and he made sure everything, all the switches and all the track was in good working order. They inspected it. They had a hand car, they called it, a speeder.
Mm-hmm.
They'd go up and down the line, and the speeder could pick up irregularities in the track because they ride pretty rough to begin with. If they felt a soft spot or...
So, you know, I didn't know that was...
And then
I thought a speeder was just a mode of transportation. You were telling me it was really a testing device, wasn't it?
More or less, yeah.
Huh.
And the other thing people don't realize, about every mile or so, they developed, if they found a spring that was good to drink, they would develop it and put a pipe. And even until 10 years ago, the pipes were still existent. And when the crew would go to work on a section of track, the youngest man would be sent off with the hand car, and he would fill up a milk can with the spring water and bring it back so that the men would have drinking water while they were working, and it was always good sweet water. And there was a point where the state was worried about liability for water, so they pulled out all those pipes, and some of them were over 100 years old. And you know, when I used to ride the trail, I always appreciated that you could stop and get a really nice drink of water. But now they're not here anymore. Yeah. But I think 2 families lived in this house.
Well,
this was built by the C&O Railroad when the line was built. It's now a private summer home.
So these things would be...
There was one here, one in Cass, and one in Durban.
Okay.
The one in Durban is still there. The one in Cass was torn down, I think last year. It was left to disintegrate. They all look much alike, although this is the only one that is a double.
Yeah, I can see that now.
The others are single homes. And the school is right next door to this. I haven't been here lately. I don't know if the school is... Boy, that apple tree is just full. I guess this is a Wolf River.
Yep, that's loaded, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's other trees that don't have any apples on them.
Well, they're falling, aren't they? The old timers like the Wolf River apple. It's good for apple butter and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's probably good for an apple pie. It's very bitter.
Well, They sold this place privately then?
Yeah.
Oh, it was owned privately to begin with, but
the track foreman, section gang foreman, he had a very important job. And of course, the railroad did shut down while he worked on the track.
right.
He worked on the track between scheduled trains. So he had to have a very accurate timepiece. And he had to be able to get his crew to take the track out of service, repair it, put it back in service before the next train came up.
That's what you call being on the deadline, wasn't it?
Yep, and
just look at that tree, that is loaded.
I had very accurate watches, Hamilton's. A railroader's watch had every minute on the dial, 59, went from 0 to 59. And you had to take the watch to the railroad generally bought the watch. In the 1920s, Hamilton cost about $65, which was a lot of money. And you took the watch to a jeweler periodically. The bigger railroads, you took them every month. And the jeweler would check the watch's accuracy. He would check that the watch was set to railroad time. The man that owned the watch didn't set his own watch.
Oh, okay.
He was responsible for winding the watch. Could not touch the setting. And the watch went to railroad time. And those watches were what they called anti-magnetic, because they had 23 joules in them. So
I never did understand what a joule is.
The pivot points.
That means a bearing, right?
Yeah, and the bearings were made out of like sapphires.
Really?
And the better the watch, the more joules it had in it. So a 23 joule meant that watch was not affected by magnetic fields. Of course, on a railroad, I think you would come upon a lot of magnetic fields. And Hamilton was considered a chronometer. It was about the most accurate watch you could
Measurement
buy.
of time.
Made in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, in the city of Lancaster in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Well, do you think this is where the school was out here?
Yeah, the last time I was here, the building was still up.
I bet it's where that brush pile is. Because I bet this was the gate to the schoolyard. Somewhere in here. Now there's a building there of some sort. Maybe that's the outhouse.
Boy, these apples are good.
I can't tell what it is. That might be it. Probably wasn't a very big school, was it?
It was a one-room schoolhouse. I love these chairs.
Someone's keeping it well trimmed.